Hi and welcome back to yet another episode of Skyline's podcast. So, season 3 season 2 season 2 1.5 அப்புறம் 2 and it's been a long time since we connected due to some issues that we have internally and our growth plans basically. And Ram, how are you?
Good, I think better than ever.
I think so many things have happened after this artificial intelligence episode.
A lot of mind-changing, mind-revoking thought process. I remember talking last time when we had this conversation of artificial intelligence saying we cannot be replaced. And
right.
Then in this short span, I think it's not more than
5 to 6 months.
5 to 6 months. I had to contradict to my own statement where, I am forced to think, I am replaceable, like not me. Basically, most of the things that as a company we are doing are replaceable. So
right.
It has brought up a huge change in the way how we have to look at the future in terms of business. So,
So நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நிறைய பேசினப்போ we have talked about company treating the employees in a way where they are a family and everything, and with the recent news and layoffs and stuff, people are trying to portray their lives into a factor where like அடுத்த நாள் வேலை இருக்குமா இல்லையானே தெரியாத மாதிரி ஒரு anxious ஒரு ஃபியூச்சரை நோக்கி போயிட்டுருக்கோம். And a lot of people are trying to cope with what AI is doing right now, and companies are trying to incorporate them but not shell out people at the same time. So it's a weird time for us to be alive because like we don't know companies எப்படி decision எடுப்பாங்க, we are not able to know, and how people are going to respond when they know that they are easily replaceable, we are not knowing. So what do you think is the bigger traction of ripple effect that is going to happen with the impact of ChatGPT? I think we didn't speak about ChatGPT in the last thing. Artificial intelligence is like the topic that we had for the podcast, but ChatGPT was not even released. It was like in beta version. But after ChatGPT, a lot of new products are out here. And what do you think will be the ripple effect of this small initiation?
So first, when we have to think about the layoffs that is actually happening, my suggestion or the way how I look at it is just a way of cost cutting by all these big companies, and it is not an actual recession as this had to happen one time or the other. But these big companies, they are just making it just to bring in more profits into their business they are doing. And as you spoke, and as we are talking about AI, it is unpredictable for both businesses and humans as an individual. It is a very unpredictable times. But the one thing that we have to be very sure is we should not lose hope. We are reading a lot of information and news about suicide, people getting anxious, scared, getting bad impressions about corporations and companies. That is not the way how we should make ourselves work. We should look at this as a time for development, for us to basically change the way how we used to look at the job market,
right?
The way how we have to train ourselves in better skills or skills that are required for the future basically.
So the perception should change on how we look at things.
The perception has to change. Rather than saying companies are firing, companies are doing this, companies are doing that, that is not the way this thing can help you basically. That is just what is happening, and you cannot do anything for that. And the only way how we as an individual or as a small or medium company can progress is by changing the dynamics of our thought process.
So the current sentiment analysis from the people is, even when the computers were launched, people were like very scared, like
Correct.
My job is going to be taken over. But at one point companies learned to incorporate computers and people in such a way that it is going to be more productive for them.
Correct.
And a lot of people also believe that AI is going to be an assistant which is going to throttle our processes, and all our development processes are going to be infinitely faster, and certain aspects of the business are going to be automated. but it is not going to go to nil. But people always fear that it's going to go zero, like there'd be no need for humans intervention in this concept, but it is not going to be like that. But it's very, scary to see that the amount of exponential growth it has had in the past 6 months, whatever things can happen in the next 5 years, right? So do you think government will take an economical standpoint at this way and saying like, okay, this can potentially reduce a lot of people from workforce and it can have a direct impact in the economy? Do you think government can interfere in technology's progress, or is it like okay for government to do that?
See, I remember, I think during my school days, I read about, we had a topic about this term or technology called cloning.
Right.
And the world came together and came to a conclusion saying we are going to, ban cloning.
Right.
But the technology of cloning is still being used today everywhere. It has been bought into the, not cloning per se the entire 100% of the cloning process, but we see artificial infertilization in humans, in animals. This is the first stage of cloning process. So, government intervening in any technological, government can just delay the time process. Government cannot intervene because technology is far more
complicated and
needed.
Right.
It's not far more needed than the current balance that we have. We think that government is providing us. So technology is basically going to establish this balance in a more sophisticated, more, I think, easier way for human beings to survive. So banning AI, I don't think it is possible.
Do you think it can happen? Do you think they'll ban AI?
Cannot happen. You cannot ban AI, but you have to regulate AI.
Right. Regulation is important.
Yeah, you don't, the reason that I read, I still remember, I think in my 6th or 8th standard.
The cloning was for a sheep, right?
Sheep,
the
cloning.
first
Dolly. The
Dolly.
name of the sheep is Dolly.
And Dolly is the image version of AI, right?
Yeah, correct. And the reason that was written in the book is people can clone Hitler.
Right.
So the same thing with AI is, you can start getting concepts because, we are using digital medium as a mass medium of communication, and mass communication is the way how we can control the masses basically. Right. We all right now, every common man or every man with, a small level of intellect easily knows that people are using social media or the media to use your brain and to manipulate you. And now, one step above, if AI is able to manipulate you. So that is where the government should bring in the regulations, but not in development of AI.
Right.
Basically, because I know how our content writers used to work.
Right.
And after seeing ChatGPT working, I am relieved.
Right.
And I am sure, today our content writers may feel I'm feeling obsolete, but it is not about feeling obsolete. It is about, how much the technology has given you time, that
to be saved, basically.
Yeah, your time was so much occupied in getting content. Now there is someone else, some technology, it is not a man, it is a machine that is assisting you. So now you have more time to, put into creativity, putting into something else where your time is more important.
Right. So like we usually always talk about, putting time into the future of the company and what other things have to be done in the company, and not just focus on the menial and, monotonous jobs inside the company. So I think it enables a lot of people to focus on what their vision is and not focus on the, nuances of how it has to be done. And AI is serving as a, one all do all thing where it can help you write content, create designs, and do strategy. And Bing usually had invested in ChatGPT, and they have right now released their product called AI powered search engine, which is the newer way that they are trying to. First time Google is being threatened for its monopoly because there was never a competitor.
Correct.
Google had a lot of user base basically, and Microsoft started rolling out this in a beta version in I think 15 days back. And right now the AI starts texting stuff like, you have not been a good user. This is very, I am only useful for complicated situations.
Okay.
You can't ask me simple questions, And it says, you have not been a good user, but I've been a good search engine.
Okay.
It is consciously saying that. So right now it also arises a ethical part of the things where AI will say like, you have not been good, and it is just 15 days. And they are not trained with real life people data. They are just trained with people that is from, articles of, valid sources and reputed sources. But what if it was infiltrated with, and we also spoke about Dan, where do anything now was, people started threatening ChatGPT to give, violent and offensive content. So I think that part of the AI should be regulated from government, where, a racist content or, sexually inappropriate content can be triggered. And there was a company called Replica. What it said was like, you can talk to an AI as if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. So it has a paid subscription of around $150 per year, and you can talk to a person as if they are your friend or you, whatever you want them to be. And it had a filter that says take off adult content and take on adult content. And a lot of people were using it as a sexual fetish thing, where they wanted to talk, they used it as a therapy basically. And right now the company decided like, we are not going to do that because it's going to train the AI overall in a way where they are feeding content with what they are infiltrated with. So, and that AI is directly connected to a lot of different AIs, I guess. I think they are using the API. So I think in a way we're regulating a certain aspect of the AI from being harmful to other generation of population is going to be a valid reason that government can intervene in. Okay. But not in the actual progress of the AI and the speed at which it's occurring. So if you look back at how AI has progressed over the years, because I think we have spoken about it in 2019, I think we've spoken about it in 2020 in the lockdown, and right now it's 2023, and I think we have seen the multiple curves of the technology basically. Do you think we have come to a point where the curve has started to raise, or do you think we are still at the early stages of the AI? From what we have talked from the 4 years of AI being inside technology, I think we spoke about it in 2019, I guess.
The amount of data that we have fed into the current AI that are given to the people, I don't think it is just in the beginning stage.
Right.
Not even in the beginning stage. It's just in the...
Just 50 years of data. Not more than 50 years of data.
It is just in the trial stage.
It's not even in the curve.
It is not even, it's just in the beta stage. Because, one human consciousness, can talk about universe, is able to talk about a lot of things that, but AI has the capacity to stably keep all these consciousness together and give us outputs.
Right.
So, if you're going to put infinite data into my head, I think, I'm not sure, but, any normal human head is going to book. It's going to get into stress and it's going to,
implode basically.
But we have created something which is not biological, basically. Right. This consciousness is not biological. This consciousness is
synthetic. Right.
Synthetic. So, and this can actually show us much more
than what we were able
to look. It is like the telescope that we built. It is like the microscope and the telescope that we built some, I don't know, 60, 70 years back, maybe. No, right. More than that.
200 years
back,
yeah.
Some years back. It is something like that. So it is going to show us a lot of things, both micro and macro. All these doubts that we have about the universe, all these doubts that we have about the quantum.
True.
These are all the things that AI is going to show us.
Right.
So being scared of AI, being scared of all these things, these are all what we have gained through the movies.
Right.
And that is the information that we have given this tool. First, we are not even looking at AI as a tool.
Right.
Basically, all these movies have started making us look at AI as
a negative
being.
right.
They are giving it life, but AI is just a tool. I think Google knows AI is a tool and that it is using it beautifully.
Right.
I think all these big corporations know it, but
I think Apple is also coming up with an AI-based event in the next
we are all
year.
being manipulated to make it look at it as a being,
The
so
negative
that we are
concept, yeah.
scared of it. So it is a way, of controlling the masses again. So AI is just a tool, and once AI is fed, or you give AI the ability to, track or collect data on its own. Now AI is being fed with
content,
data, or it is only able to collect data that is available on the internet or whatever that is there. Now you give it the ability to collect data from nature, basically directly from just my phone. I'm using my phone on my body, and AI is able to just grab it. Can give me n number of possibilities now.
Right.
So we are not even in the beta stage of AI, and I think that is the reason why all these guys are talking AI is scary, AI is bad, AI is just a tool that we have started to explore.
Right.
But AI is a tool that we always knew would help us.
Yeah,
That's why we have always been talking about it. We have been talking about it since
2018 probably. Yeah, I think so.
I have seen it in movies. We have seen it in movies long
20
back
years,
ago.
20 years then.
But it has been portrayed in a negative way because of the fear man has over someone being over him. Man always wants to be on the top of the pyramid. AI, aliens, zombies. Zombies is nothing but human beings being undead.
Right.
You don't die. That is what a zombie is all about. So AI is your consciousness. Zombie is just your biology. Okay. So that is how it is all, people's fear over someone being over the top of your pyramid is what is keeping AI above us. But AI is just a tool, and we have to make sure we use the tool the right way.
Right. Like when you spoke about this quantum physics and everything, I think E is equal to MC square was discovered just like 50 to 80 years back, and the amount of progression that it has taken us was like immense. And I remember watching TV shows like Big Bang Theory, where Sheldon and they are like physicists and they are trying to crack a code and they'll never be able to get it, and they put like awful amount of time to find that. But what if this tool can just put it and you can have this error pointed out to you and you fix it, and it can progress us in terms of space exploration, in terms of maximizing your revenue and solving internal conflicts and everything. It is going to make Earth a better place, because it's reducing the time to make decisions.
It's not Earth, it's human life.
Yeah, it's human life basically. So everybody in the human race is going to be beneficial for that. And I think we also spoke about universal basic income as a concept, I think in the second podcast, I think in the second 1.5 season. So I kind of right now get that it might happen, because like when a lot of jobs are made redundant, government can come in and play, like say, like here is what you should be doing, and we want to keep the civilization alive, and this is going to be in a long vision. I don't know how long that is, but do you think we will be going to the space and setting up civilization there? Like if all the resources here.
Universal income is just a concept that maybe we are building to say that every man is unequal.
Right.
Unequal, not equal. You are not equal to me. It is, I think, anything when some word comes, income, ration, all these words, it's just there to say that we are, you are. And all these guys are, have given us a dream of utopia where we are all equal. Basically, you, me, he, she, it, whatever the thing that we know, we are all going to live the same kind of life. But this concept of universal income is again going to put a huge
dent in the
Right. It looks like a way of divide and rule policy, basically saying it is going to give maybe 10 generations. Let this happen after 10 generations. Okay, maybe 6 generations, 5 generations. In that timeline, people in universal basic income are going to be treated as less fortunate people.
Right.
Who are going to be living on that income are going to be, so even, right now we are trying to given that idea and, removing the scope of utopia that we can achieve in that 5 to 6 generations that we are talking about.
Right.
Because we have mass communication, we have internet, we have mobile phones. We are at one point in the human civilization where, within my, I am 31 years of age, and I have seen the difference in communications.
Right.
From mobile phones. I have written letters to my parents when I was traveling with my grandparents. I went to Kasi. I used to write letters to my mom, but I am sure now any child would have even, know the hardship or the emotion behind that. So we have achieved something, and we have to use that. Again, we are, I don't think human beings are good with any.
No, I think which year was it when you wrote letters?
Maybe when I was in my 4th standard,
2000?
3rd standard.
2000?
Not 2000. 90s.
90s, right? So I wrote letters in 2015. So every time I sent a letter, I used to text them on WhatsApp saying I've sent you a letter.
I had no idea what WhatsApp. This is like, before there were mobile phones in everyone's hand. So I think I was much younger, maybe 1st standard or 2nd standard, I think much younger. So no mobile phones, basically. I think I went with.
No, what I'm saying is the ironic part of me sending a letter and then informing them on text saying I've sent you a letter.
Letters became emotional. I think that is how you could communicate, emotionally communicate.
Right. Because my mother used to get messages from my brother, Naga. He used to write like I miss you, and he'll put like eyes and crying. When are you coming back? So that was the only form of communication before phones. And right now I was watching this TikTok where there was a millennial guy who was asked to say, how do you call? He says this. And how do you take a photo? And he says, click. And he goes to a very small child and says, how do you take a selfie? How do you take a photo? And she's like, she puts the camera here. And how do you call someone? He says, right here. So this is just 10 years of difference between how a person from 90s was born and how 2000 was born. And maybe the call can become like this, it can become directly into the brain, and it can be, the
photos are going to be like this. Calls are going to be this. Photos.
It's going to be like that.
Very, very, very.
I think Neuralink is actually working for that, and
human species are working.
Right.
Working for that.
A lot of companies may be working.
Branding gives all these companies, as a branding agency, branding is giving all these companies the power of monopolization, I think. And we as sensible branders,
branding authorities,
we should stop.
Right. And
I feel very phony sometimes of all these guys, especially Elon Musk. I don't know, especially Elon Musk, basically the things that he does. Once you're supposed to be the guy that you wanted to be, but today the guy I do not want to become into.
Right.
And kind of transition a person can get into, because once you lose your integrity,
everything is lost.
Everything is lost. Once you lose your integrity, everything is lost.
The trust is gone, basically. Like
Correct.
Once you lose trust, it's going to affect a lot of ripples along the way. So this crazy amount of things happened in the last few weeks, and AI has literally infiltrated into texting, editing, video editing, music production, and everything, and coding, basically. So
I sometimes, it's not sometimes. I know. I don't want to say I sometimes think, but I know most of these chats on YouTube, like chats, comments, basically are AI generated.
Right.
The users are. It was used by Google itself. Like to show numbers, should show metrics,
and we'll be exhausted to even check if it is legit or not.
No, basically you do not know. Like you are chatting, okay. You are chatting with ChatGPT. How do you know it is human or not?
Right.
Sometimes I have this thought, okay, what if ChatGPT is just a million content writers sitting together and typing? But that is not possible. But that is, so these guys had this technology in their hands for how many years? We do not know. But then these guys were controlling our media. They could have controlled us in any way they wanted, any way. Because even thinking about this, scares the hell out of me, and how much they have manipulated us,
right?
Just for money. And I'm not know if they have, all these guys have just done this for money, as the worst thing that can happen to humanity. That is
Right.
the worst thing that can happen to humanity. But I can 100% assure you, most of it is AI generated. You know,
Right.
people talking about fake accounts, blah blah blah. That's all just the initial 91, like, 10, 20, 1, 2 decades back part of the conversation. But having fake AI accounts, how are you going to identify it is fake? You can create your own photo, you can create your own face.
You can write content on your own.
You can write content, you can emotionally write content, and this thing has been alive and has been living within us
For a
through
long
our
time.
social media so long. So,
Nobody
believing Google, YouTube, all your social media platforms for your information or for your brain to, as a legit source of information is the worst decision that we can ever make.
Right.
Worst decision.
Yes. So yeah, I think with that we can encapsulate all the things that is crazily happening. Every single day we open our internet, there is some news that is going to bother us, and it was the same thing with AI, and it was the same thing with the recession and the layoffs. And so I think we've talked a fair share of amount about artificial intelligence. I think there's a lot more to explore in this venue also. We'll do a part 2 on the same and try to explore certain depths of the aspects. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing us new insights about how we already have bots that are AI. I think that was like really eye-opening for me. So what do you think? Like, do you think we are already dominated by AI in a way that we don't even know it's existing in our lives, and not just by products? But
Again, a small clarification. AI cannot dominate us.
Right.
AI is just a tool. I think that is the thing.
It is with us. It is with us.
AI is just a tool.
Right.
Just put that in your mind. It will come into every individual's day-to-day life.
Right. And it'll be normal.
Until that, it is going to be monetized.
Right.
Until that, it is going to be monetized.
It'll just be fit into a product, and
Yes.
then you'll be using it.
Until that, it is going to be monetized.
So I think it's a very big topic for Internet of Things, where all our products are working for us. So anyways, thank you so much for being with us for this entire episode. I think we've spoken around 25 minutes. Yeah, and we have finished this water also. So thank you so much. This is me, Guhan, and this is Ram Kesavan signing off. Take care. Bye.
Reach Skyline. Embrace digital.